Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sascha Fahrbach. Russia is tightening its assault on the eastern Ukrainian city of Pokrovsk, making gradual territorial gains while targeting key supply routes and Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Now, Ukrainian forces are resisting with special units, drone strikes, and counterattacks on Russian oil and energy assets. At the same time, Western support faces uncertainty, with renewed hesitation from Washington over long-range weapons. But now let's make more sense of the situation on the ground and its wider implications. And for that, we're joined by Rostyslav Khotin, senior editor at RFE/RL's Ukrainian service. Good to have you back at TVP World.
Hello, Sasha.
So you know what's going on in Ukraine. I'm curious. I mean, beyond the headlines, the current types of different types of statements we're getting, what in your mind is the current situation in Pokrovsk, and why does this town matter so much to the war effort?
Russia wanted to make a successful summer offensive, which failed. Now is Russia making its kind of autumn offensive. And the main goal of this autumn offensive of Russian forces in occupied parts of Ukraine is to take at least Pokrovsk in the Donetsk region. The first advanced groups of Russian soldiers were spotted in the town city center of Pokrovsk recently, but they were repelled. Now the fierce fighting is going on to the east of Pokrovsk, and also Russia wants to encircle the city from the north and from the south, but there is a fierce Ukrainian resistance there. Apparently, the special forces of Ukrainian military intelligence, who the main military intelligence directorate of the defense ministry, the special troops are there, special forces. Even the commander of the military intelligence, General Kirill Budanov, also took personal responsibility for the defense of Pokrovsk and was apparently is still there, kind of conducting leading the defense of the city. So for Ukraine, it's a principal matter to defend Pokrovsk. It's a matter of pride, national pride, but also from the strategic point of view, Pokrovsk is extremely important, because if Pokrovsk fails, then Russia will have the open route towards the Dnipropetrovsk region, neighboring Dnipropetrovsk region. Now, currently, one third of all combat actions are happening in or around Pokrovsk. One third of all combat actions, and Russia trying also to bombard the city of Pokrovsk with guided bombs. Half of all guided bombs used now on the battlefield are used in or around Pokrovsk also. So it's extremely fierce fighting is going on there, and we'll see. But Ukrainians are defending so far the city of Pokrovsk so far successfully.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you said there it's very much so a strategic interest matter. It's a symbolic interest matter. At the same time, I mean, this city, or this rather smaller town, had around 60,000 people, civilian populated. Most of them have fled by now. But how are we looking in terms of supplying this? I mean, as you said, there's gradual encirclement by Russian forces of different kind. How dire, in your mind, is the supply line in this? And can Ukraine, and does Ukraine have what it needs to hold out?
Yeah, Russia is trying to encircle the city from the north and from the south, and fierce fighting is going on to the east of the city, the fiercest fighting. But supply lines are difficult for logistical reasons to supply the Ukrainian troops there. But also Ukrainians build so-called anti-drone roads, kind of with anti-drone nets, like being put over the surface of the surface of the roads. So there is a way of supplies, but we'll see if the seriousness of the situation is underlined by the fact that Ukraine brought the best and most advanced and most professional troops there, the special forces of military directorate, the main directorate of intelligence, of military intelligence. That's the sign that the situation is serious. We'll see, because Russia also doesn't have a lot of time. They have to finish this before the winter comes, in a month or so. because in the winter it's difficult to do advanced operations. So we'll see. Ukraine has to stand up for a month at least till the end of autumn, till the beginning of winter, and then there will be some kind of pause or break, or the intensity will be kind of the much lesser scale. We'll see.
Mhm.
So hopefully Russian autumn offensive will also fail as summer offensive remarkably failed.
Yeah. And I also want to point out to our viewers, I mean, how, as you've already pointed out, to how strategically important this place is if the Russians were to take it, looking at the further platforms of springboard where it could lead to. And we're looking at the towns also towards Kramatorsk, Slovyansk, and that's significant pretty much in all of Donetsk there. So do you reckon that this is the Russian tactic here, is to take the rest of Donetsk before the winter sets in? Is that something realistic, or are they going to get stuck here? Can they be repelled? I mean, it's tough to judge here, but what do you think the Russian strategic interests are here, and how realistic are they?
Russian strategic, because during talks between U.S. and Russian presidents, and during all contacts between Americans and Russians insisted on Ukrainian withdrawal from all Donetsk region. Ukrainians categorically refused this. Americans also said it's unrealistic demand. That's why there was no summit between Trump and Putin in Budapest, because Russian insistence on Ukrainian withdrawal from whole of Donetsk region. So now Russia wants to take Donetsk region by force, not by not at the negotiation table, but by force. We'll see. The city has, the town of Pokrovsk has strategic importance for Ukrainians and for Russians as well. But we'll see. Strategic goal of Russian army in Ukraine this year was to take the whole Donetsk region by the end of this year. Now it's already, we are in the month of November, and the mission has failed so far. We'll see. I hopefully Russian troops will be stuck there before winter comes.
Mm-hmm. There's also various reports from different sources saying that the Russians themselves are using different types of tactics. There's more use of heavy armor, different types of groups attacking in different places. Can you tell us a bit more about what that means? Is that something of they're trying to overwhelm here? Do they have the resources? We're always saying Russians don't have the sort of resources to push this kind of campaign. But where do you think the truth lies in all that?
You know, the drone warfare made tanks, the traditional warfare subjects like tanks or armored vehicles and other kind of traditional armored, more kind of thing of the past. But now with clouds, with autumn weather, with November weather, with the winter approaching, it's cloudy weather mostly. So drones are not in a big use, in a very active use as before during summer or first half of autumn. So now Russians are using also tanks and heavy armored vehicles as well. So it's now the warfare in and around Pokrovsk and in the eastern Ukraine in general, in Donbas region. It looks like more traditional, like at the initial stage of this full-scale war in Ukraine. So because of clouds and cloudy weather, rains, drones are not used as actively as before during summer campaigns.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So there seems to be also a push, as you said, a strategic interest on both sides for this as the winter starts to settle in. I'm also curious the direction of, if we're looking at the kind of support that Ukraine's receiving right now also from the UK, those long-range Storm Shadow missiles, the UK has said that will continue to be supplied. How much will that, if anything, help in this particular theater right now? Will this help Ukraine in any way strike back at Russia? Will it have any impact in the interim?
Yes, Storm Shadow are very powerful. Storm Shadow / French Scalp missiles. They are both jointly produced. They are very powerful missiles, and Ukraine badly needs them. But we have to remember that Ukraine strikes Russia mostly with Ukrainian-made weapons, especially drones. This night, Ukrainians hit the oil chemical plant in Bashkortostan, Autonomous Republic of Bashkortostan, on the Volga region. And also at the same time, Ukrainians struck the oil deposit, oil depot and oil chemical plant in Nizhny Novgorod region, also far away from Ukraine on the Volga region. So it's again this kind of deliberate campaign on Ukrainian side to strike Russian oil industry. Between 32 and 37% of Russian oil industry has been targeted by Ukrainian forces since August over the past 3 months. The result is that petrol prices are up 10 or even 20% in some Russian regions. Russia, as a kind of big country of the big petrol station, lacks petrol now. There are long queues. There are kind of the petrol distribution of petrol has been rationed in some region. The Russians, ordinary Russians, feel the lack of petrol at the petrol stations. So it's a campaign of targeting Russian oil industry and oil refineries have been remarkably successful, but it's mainly done by Ukrainian-made drones.
All right, so also that energy war coming into play, even more significant now as the winter settles in. Look, I mean, this is, as you said, symbolic and strategic for both Ukraine and Russia. Fierce fighting around that city. We'll keep looking at the updates. But thanks for all those insights. Our guest here, Rostyslav Khotin, Senior Editor, RFE Ukraine Service. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sascha.
And thank you for watching. But stay tuned. Much more will come up right here on TVP World, so don't go away.